All right. What is up? It is episode number 21. Welcome back to the You Should Fact Check This podcast. It's
afternoon beer right there.
It's what?
Afternoon beer.
Afternoon beer. Peter is in an interesting type of mood. Because first off, I got a text message about 10 minutes ago that said, tell me something inspirational.
And you failed for sure.
That is not a failure. We cannot disclose what was said. However, it was not a failure.
It was pretty inspirational. Or it was pretty a failure.
No, it wasn't. That's inspirational, dog.
Okay.
It's time to step up.
Cheers. Afternoon beer.
Afternoon beer. Peter is an alcoholic, and I'm only making it worse.
Yeah, basically.
So what's up with the goggles? What's going on?
I needed some, that's how I get energy, is I need some, external source to be goofy. So I threw on some goggles and got goofy.
So what you're telling me is that you're tired.
I can't see haters with my goggles on.
You can't hear me asking questions either, apparently.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, man. It's been a
inspirational, absolutely inspirational from Peter Byrne. It's been it's been a week, and we're getting back into it. We've passed 20, so we're rolling, we're burning. I don't know that they're getting better, but we're still doing them, so that's something, right?
I talked to our old coach Obi yesterday.
Oh,
Sounds
did
like
you?
He's about to start listening to him. So.
Oh no. Hey Obi, if you're listening, how you doing? Thanks for listening. Yeah, it's a weird area when I was at lunch with Charlie, her cousin, her sister, and her cousin's boyfriend, and I was like, I have to leave because I have a podcast to do. And I feel like when you say that, everyone's like, okay. Because really, who's crazy enough to think that anyone gives a fuck about what they have to say? Right?
No one. I don't understand why anyone listens to this.
Well, Peter, everyone else is in the same boat right now because no one listens.
All right. If you guys want some motivational advice here on this podcast, that's what we're listening for. Stop listening to this podcast.
No, dude. Come on. If you want motivational advice, we'll bring in a motivation segment.
Here it is. Stop listening to this podcast. Go out. Get some sunshine or something.
I mean, really just do something rigorous.
Yeah, do that.
I was listening to, do you know who Ryan Holiday is?
No, it seems like Christmas.
He's a writer, and he writes about all the famous Stoics.
What the hell's a Stoic?
I actually don't know the definition of a Stoic. Let me look it up. But essentially, Marcus Aurelius was one of a famous Stoic. I don't even. Stoicism. It's a philosophy of personal. What? I can't read that. Eudaimonic.
Found it out.
Virtue, ethics, informed by its systems of logic and its views on the natural world, asserting that practice of virtue is both necessary and something else. Well, one of the things that I've gained from looking at the Stoics is the Stoics aren't reactionary. So they're very logical in the way that they think. They don't get emotional about decisions.
Right.
They're very level-headed, calm people. So me, right?
You are not Stoic.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm a Stoic, Peter.
I am Stoic.
You're not Stoic, dude.
Are you actually saying that you're Stoic?
No, of course not.
Good. Okay. Jeez.
I will be.
I'm Stoic.
You're not stoic, Peter.
I'm not emotional about anything.
Okay, let's think about who's a stoic person that we know.
Me.
No, okay, whatever. Peter's a stoic. I don't even fucking care anymore. Whatever.
Keen Hamilton.
Keen is pretty stoic.
Talked to him last night.
But he was talking about, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about, rigorous activities like sports, athletics, and why sports and athletics are so important. And they went into talking about how the famous philosophers from history were like Spartans, were like long distance runners, were boxers, were people who like did rigorous things.
Right.
And now when you think of a philosopher, what do you think of?
Some guy with a long beard and circle glasses sitting in a cave.
Really? That's interesting. I mean, that probably takes more discipline than what our current philosophers actually are, but
like Dumbledore looking.
Well, when I think of philosopher nowadays, I think of, someone working in an Ivy League school talking to a bunch of, college kids, right?
Right.
They're not like the athletes of the world. They're not people who are doing really difficult things. They're just thinking a lot.
Right.
And getting paid to do it, which is pretty interesting. When really, if you think about it, most professions are just thinking and getting paid to do it. But
that's philosophy right there.
But they were talking about how important like physical movement is to understanding like who you are and what the world is. And so if you need some fucking motivation, if you don't know who you are, go for a hard fucking run. Go bike for a long time. Yeah, if you don't have legs, then maybe swim. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying if you literally can. Like some people can't run hard for longer than 5 seconds.
Then that's as long as you can run for. Do it for 5 seconds and then next time go for 8. And then go for 10. Like you don't have to set your bar as high as the people that you see. Like I'm so guilty of this. I watch people like Cameron Haynes and fucking David Goggins, and I'm like, why the fuck can't I run a marathon a day? And then I realize that that's idiotic, and there's like a tiny fraction of the population that can actually achieve that.
I mean, you could.
I could.
In 4 or 5 years.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I mean. So, like, those people have been doing this for a long fucking time.
One marathon, though.
I agree. We should probably start with one, and I should recover from it.
Are you ever going to run a marathon? We just had the Missoulian marathon.
I actually think that I would like to run a marathon. I did about 4 miles today.
22 more.
And so I'm ready, But I just think that there's so much to be found in like a really difficult long run. Because short runs are short-lived. There's not enough time to think about shit.
If you run slower, there is.
No, Peter. That's terrible. I mean, I think all of that is, yes, I think all of it is who you are. Like if you've never run a mile in your life, a mile run is a long fucking run. But then there are people out there that are running like ultra marathons, 240 miles for multiple days.
There's this guy. So here's my sports segment. There's this Missoulian. His name is Adam Peterman. And he just won the Western States
race. Is that how you say it? Missoulian? Or is it a Missoulian?
It's Missoulian.
That's terrible. Okay, sorry.
Dude, continue. You literally live in Albuquerque.
No, I don't live in Albuquerque, dude. I live in Albuquerque.
Okay, well, this guy named Adam Peterman, he's from Missoula, right? He just won the Western States race, which is a 100-mile race.
Yeah.
It was his first ever 100-mile run. Like
He
race
won
he's
it
ever
on
done.
his first time. Dude, not setting yourself up for long-term
He's
success.
won every single ultra run he's ever entered.
What?
He's 26. He went to my high school. And so it's a 100-mile run. Let's see. He ran the final lap. So he ran it. He took the win in 15 minutes, 13 seconds. Sorry, 15 hours. 13 minutes and 47 seconds.
He ran 100 miles in 15 hours?
Yeah.
What's the average pace?
The next person closest to him finished in 15
18
hours, 47 minutes.
He got 15 what?
30 minutes after him.
Oh my God. And that's his first ultra?
His first 100-miler. First 100-miler.
So what is an ultra? Do you know what, like, when it gets into ultra?
Over 50K.
Okay. That
Anything
makes sense.
over a marathon.
So that would be over 26, right?
Well, which is 50K-ish.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes. Right. I get into US and, metric and all of those, but
I think he ran something like an average of 8-minute mile for...
Stop that.
What?
Stop running. I mean, that's so fast for 100 miles.
For 100 miles. Let's see. Trying to...
I'm interested to see what his upbringing, his past was like, because it's hard for me to believe that someone could accomplish. Well, yes, but that doesn't mean
we had lunch together one time.
That's sick, Peter.
I probably won that race for him. Just the mindset I gave him.
No, what I'm saying is you probably bullied him, and that's why he won the race.
All successful people were bullied.
Like I'm really interested in what struggle he's gone through.
He just ran. He just ran all the time.
He was just running.
He just ran all the time.
If you can learn how to fucking run like that when you're young, especially as a soccer player.
He's not a soccer player.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is if you're a soccer player and you're young, if you can start like getting into running at like 12,
yeah,
you're going to be you're going to be set up. Soccer's going to be so much easier.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. It's crazy.
Peter, that's obvious, but none of us do it, right?
That's because running's stupid.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I wish that I had that. I mean, obviously, he's 26, you said?
Yeah.
So he's got, I wonder when he started running, probably 16?
I don't know. I mean, he was dominant in Montana when he was...
In high school?
Yeah.
So he probably started when he was in his early teens, really getting into running. So he's got like a decade plus experience just doing distance runs.
Yeah, he went to the University of Colorado, ran cross country for them.
That's such a different sport, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking at pictures, dude, and he doesn't
the mental abilities and the mental fortitude to being able to do things like that is just, I'm really not sure how.
He doesn't even look tired.
I don't believe that that's achievable outside of just doing runs like that.
He doesn't even look tired.
I've heard you the first time, Petey.
I don't think. Jeez.
I mean,
but the thing is, the Western States is literally the biggest ultra race in America. Like, it's not like it's just like, oh, he won that ultra race.
Is it really the biggest?
That's like the Super Bowl of ultra races in America.
Won it?
And he just wins it first time out.
Is that one of those ones that's in the mountains?
Yeah, he runs from. I can't even remember. It's all the way
Western
across
states.
California. Basically.
So it's like Washington to California.
No.
If it's just California, then call it California State.
Let me see what the Western states are.
So my cousin,
Keep talking.
my cousin,
No, just keep talking.
Logan, he
Keep
did.
talking.
Peter, shut your mouth. God. He did a walk from like Mexico to Canada.
So it takes. Oh yeah, the Pacific Coast Trail.
Yeah, which is like it's like 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
I can't imagine walking for that fucking long.
My uncle did that.
He's now a firefighter, like a wildlife firefighter.
My uncle did that. 100.2 mile ultra marathon.
Everyone, I want to let you know that Peter is the best listener you will ever talk with.
He's a firefighter now. Cool.
Such a disrespectful human.
California, Sierra Nevada mountains. So it is just in California.
I'm really upset that it's called the Western States
Why is that?
because it's in one state.
I could see your frustration there.
Oh God,
What?
you dude.
Am I annoying you today?
Yeah, you're on one today, and your image looks terrible.
Why?
I want you to get a desk lamp.
Why?
So bad, just to light up your face a little bit, Petey. You've got
Does that work?
you've got a freaking, what are they called? I don't even know. I'm giving up. I gave up.
What?
So on the health,
What's wrong with my face?
no, dude, I'm just saying you've got those, what are they called?
Bags?
The things from the sun.
Sunspots? Freckles.
You've got a bunch of freckles. We can't even fucking see them. Can't
Do I
even
look
tell.
like a ghost?
No, you don't look like a ghost. You look dark, dude. Okay. On the
Are you
health
going to
side.
the alumni game this year?
Yes, of course I'm going to the alumni game, Peter.
Okay.
Of course I'm going to the alumni game, Peter.
Okay.
This year above all else.
What were you going to say?
The FDA bans Juul e-cigarettes from being sold in the United States.
Finally.
That is, I feel like it's something that everyone, when all the kids got addicted to them, they're like, so this is going to happen at some point. You know what I mean?
Banning them?
That they're just going to get banned.
Yeah.
But then you also don't really have the trust in the system to actually get rid of them.
Right. And they did.
Because we have cigarettes.
But the fact that they banned Juuls and not cigarettes is shocking.
Well, the problem I think with banning cigarettes above e-cigarettes is that cigarettes have been around for so long. You've got millions and millions of people smoking cigarettes, which is terrible. However, it's like booze. We tried to ban booze in the 1920s. And a lot of the times when you ban these things, they just come back, but in worse forms. So
Why
it's
they banned Juuls?
because the alternative is smoking a cigarette. And those are like, they're not getting rid of the cigarette. And those are also like, they have to go through processes to be sold. Processes, whatever, Peter. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're going to fall back. The people that are going hard on Juuls are going to fall back on like nicotine gum or going back to cigarettes, right?
Zin?
Yeah, whatever those fucking crazy things are. But when it's like for drugs, like when you're banning weed, when you're banning like all these other drugs, the only way people can get them is through illegal processes.
Black market.
Yeah. Which is going to make them more dangerous. They're not going to be verified for what's actually in them. So you're not going to know exactly what you're smoking or what you're ingesting.
So are you against for banning Juuls, or are you for banning Juuls?
Well, I think banning Juuls is fine. I think Juuls are specifically targeted towards the younger demographics, which so is alcohol. That all of the ads that you see for alcohol, that they're marketing towards 15-year-olds, not necessarily to get them to buy it now, but when they're of age, they've already got the brand awareness. They're connected to that brand, and that's why they're going to go there. So that's why they target those ads to kids, not necessarily to try and get them to drink it right now, but
I'm still connected to Busch Light, man.
Maybe that's why I've never drank, but I've never had any affiliation with any alcohol.
No, neither have I. Except one of our sponsors, Sky Vodka.
I would love to be sponsored by an alcohol provider when I don't drink alcohol. I think that would be hilarious. But I also would have a huge moral weight of doing that because I don't.
I feel gluten-free.
I feel like, dude, it's vodka. Of course it's gluten-free. I feel like if we're gonna have a sponsor at some point,
we're not.
Yes, we will. We're never gonna have a sponsor that we don't use. That is not gonna be something that.
I don't know if someone's willing.
No,
to give
Peter,
us...
shut your mouth. Our moral standards are too high.
You want me to use it? I'll use it.
No.
I'll use it.
What are your thoughts on banning Juuls, other than finally?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I never understood why they were a thing in the first place. Well,
have you ever tried one?
Huh?
Did you ever try one?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, our roommates.
I was very against them.
And it just seems like it's worse.
Well, it's just like, obviously, like, what are you doing? Like,
you're going to put oil and then vaporize it and then suck it into your mouth?
Yeah, multiple times a minute. Like, really? This is what we're doing right now? Like,
so I loved when you were out somewhere and you would just see someone going like this. And you're like, do you think we can't understand what you're doing just because it's your hand? No one sucks on their thumb like that, dude.
Or just sitting in class.
Yeah. Just looking like the teacher's just like, do you need to take a shit? You're just like.
It's a flash drive. It's a flash drive. Yeah, I thought they were so stupid.
I remember seeing just like those stupid little inserts for them everywhere. They were all over our fucking house.
Well, dude, those inserts were like $50 for a 5-pack, something like that.
Well, yeah. So
and each pack like lasted them like maybe a few days, a day or two.
For those of you that are maybe in high school or are going to college, here's a great way of coming out positive.
Pick one person that's doing all the cool stuff and do it as well.
Don't buy alcohol. Don't buy drugs. And you'll save a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, probably. You'll probably make money.
Yeah. I mean,
the amount. Do the buying and have everyone Venmo you.
Yes. You could do that too. And then don't consume the product. Because at that point, you're a dealer. And it's illegal, but you're the dealer.
Be what it be, man. Just learn about market and demand. Supply and demand.
There you go.
Market and demand. Same.
We're figuring it out. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting because it just seems like everything's falling apart. It seems like no one. Sometimes you look at the news and you're like, why is everyone doing the opposite of what everyone thinks we should be doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole Roe v. Wade getting overturned.
It's just because like the people. Just because the social media, like they're gonna blast the loud part, but everyone who's not, like if you actually sit down and think about it, the people that aren't speaking up about it on social media are in the majority compared to the people that are speaking up about it on social media.
I honestly, I don't think that the majority of people think that you shouldn't have access to a safe abortion.
I completely agree.
However, I don't think that most people understand what the precedent was for their decision. Right?
Yeah.
Like their decision was, and I'm not saying it's right, but their decision, and I'm almost positive that it was a black woman and a black man and a woman who overturned it. But their decision was it in our part of our Constitution? Was it a constitutional right to be able to have an abortion?
Right.
And obviously, because there fucking weren't even abortions when our Constitution was written, it's not part of the Constitution.
Right. I think that there needs to be new laws written on it.
Right, which is what a constitutional amendment is, which is what Roe v. Wade was.
Right.
But depending on how the whole thing is structured, like when someone brings that, I don't even know what they call it, but you know, if a lawyer wants to run something up to the Supreme Court like that, they can. And then you have to look at it based on how it's written and ask, like, is this part of the Constitution? Do we actually need to make a change to the Constitution? And making changes to the Constitution is not something that is taken lightly.
Right.
And it shouldn't be.
I don't understand like and maybe it's because I'm not a woman. At least I don't think so.
It's all up in the air at this point.
I don't understand. Like, I really don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand like the huge, severe responses to it.
Well, so
in terms of like, I know maybe for sure, like, I probably know some people that have had an abortion, right?
You probably know quite a few more people
that
have had an abortion than you would think, because that's not something that people are going to talk about.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, in terms of like day to day, like, how much does that ruling like really affect you?
I think that one of the biggest problems is it's not. Most of the people that we interact with are relatively well educated.
Yes.
Relatively well resourced in terms of how much money they have.
Right.
Like, they're not in the lower divisions, but that's where the problems really occur, is when you have less money.
Yeah.
And you have less things to do. One of the things that you end up doing more is squishing.
I wonder why that is, honestly.
It's a very interesting trend, and it's something that is kind of concerning, because the wealthier you get, the less kids that you tend to have. Except for, so there's a threshold.
Except
when
for,
you
like,
become
the super wealthy, right?
It's actually like a U shape graph. A lot of people have a lot of kids that are really not well off. And then once you become like in that range of $100,000 to $600,000 a year income, you're like, they're like not having kids. And then on the other side of that, they're having a fuck ton of kids.
Right.
However, it's concerning that, you know, people are choosing to have their career over kids, which, you know, isn't a terrible thing, but it also isn't good for the planet. We have talks about overpopulation, but that's not the real concern. The real concern is depopulation and not having enough kids. That is the true concern, because if you get onto that side of things where you're not producing enough kids, then you don't have enough people to keep up with the demand of the people who are getting older. So you'll have a severe problem as the generations start to age and there's less people to produce the products that need to be produced. And, you know, you can say
Everybody get a reproduction buddy.
yeah, get a reproduction buddy. Yeah, exactly. But also, like, you could say that a lot of that is going to get filled in with technology over time. So when people are like, technology, AI is going to steal our jobs, and it's like, well, maybe this is just coming along at the perfect time because people are deciding to have less kids. We're not going to have enough people to work. So now we can use robots to do the work that needs to be done to be able to keep us going until we eventually just fade off into nothing. Like,
and that's Devon's deathly speech of the day.
There it is. There's your motivation.
Go have a child?
Go out and squish. Go out and squish so humanity doesn't suffer.
I do not want a child at any point soon.
At any point soon? I thought you wanted kids. I mean,
At any point soon. Give it
right,
like 10
I understand
years.
soon. Yeah. Like in your 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
There's no need to have children before 30.
I want to be plenty well off to be able to support my kid.
I don't know if I need to be well off, but I need to have a good trajectory
Yeah, that's fair.
as a couple,
Yep.
right? Right? You can be starting a new job, but if it has a potential for growth or et cetera, then great. But I don't understand these people who are, you know, coaching soccer teams, like club soccer, and then also having a child. And it's like, really? That's your only, like, wow. Okay.
Oh my God, dude. Coaching is one of the most, I mean, we have a coaching shortage.
We have we have an even further good coaching shortage.
Yeah, and it's really easy to understand why.
Because coaches don't get paid at all.
They don't get paid at all, and the job is rigorous.
Yeah, job sucks.
Like you're not moving shit every day. It's not like one of those fucking labor jobs that really sucks. But dealing with kids is difficult. I love coaching because I really enjoy working with kids, but it gets super hard. And then the worst part, the absolute worst part, there's two of them, is dealing with the parents and then dealing with the politics involved. It is the most absurd thing that I have to deal with politics when I'm coaching 11-year-olds how to play soccer. Like, can I just coach them and hope that, like, try and make them good? And if we lose to the other team, that's great. Maybe we'll win next time. Like, we don't have to have these battles against the other clubs.
Yeah. It's all about
Do you
money
guys
and
have
talent.
that in Missoula?
Yeah. I mean, we only have one club in Missoula, so. Well,
You only have one? How many people are in Missoula?
and then 70,000.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we only have like one solid club.
So
There's
where do
like
you guys
3
play
teams
games?
per-
Do you guys have to play teams from around the state?
Yeah.
So you have to play for teams from like Bozeman and
Yeah. Our shortest drive for away games is like an hour and a half. Or our shortest drive for games is like an hour and a half.
oh geez, that's so different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I have a 45-minute drive just to our fields in Albuquerque, but we're playing a bunch of Albuquerque teams.
Albuquerque, right.
We have 20,000 soccer players in New Mexico, youth soccer players.
Jeez. You should try and capitalize on those.
Oh, he knows what I've been working on. Yeah. I don't know. Coaching is brutal. I don't even, how the fuck did we get to coaching? Oh, we were talking about kids, repopulation, depopulation.
But I coach for 25 hours, 30 hours a week. And it's adults and kids. And it is exhausting.
Yeah. Because you have to have like interactions with all those people.
Oh my gosh.
And social interaction it can like get you going, or it can just absolutely drain you.
And it gets me going for the hour, and then afterwards it's just
and then you're like, oh no, I have to do a spreadsheet. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a disaster. So I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm going to lay by a pool and...
You're going on vacation this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to Sacramento.
All right, sounds nice.
What? Why do you give me that face?
I'm going on vacation this weekend as well.
Yeah, where are you going?
We are taking Brendan to college.
Doesn't sound as fun as California.
I'm going to Dallas, Texas, my dude.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as fun as California.
Oh, it's better.
I'm going to a Six Flags water park, bro.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty upsetting that I'm not doing that.
Hopefully am playing.
You're playing?
Yeah, I'm just going to be playing. Playing all weekend.
Oh, playing like in the pool and
just
such.
Just playing.
Yeah, Peter, how much time do you set aside for Peter?
Well, I work out for like 2 hours a day, so that's Peter time.
Do you really work out for 2 hours a day?
Yeah.
Hour
and a half, 2 hours. Depending on the day.
What? So I've been harassing Peter because Peter's on this Instagram grind. And he's doing fantastic. He's extremely consistent, which is the hardest part, literally the hardest part. However,
I'm doing
people want to have you tell them the information. They don't want to read it, especially on Instagram. Like, I think your posts are fantastic. I don't want to read them.
That's really rude.
I know, but I'm trying to be as straight up with you as I can be.
That's rude.
The stuff that you're teaching is stuff that people need to know when they're learning how to lift. I mean, most people just need to know it because they should be lifting generally, right?
Right.
We can all agree that the whole population should be working out. And we should know why we're working out and what we're working out.
Gyms should be the busiest most successful businesses in America.
And some of them are. However, people don't like when it's information that you're really excited about learning. You're going to read it. You're going to seek it out. You're going to read it. You're going to digest it. Right? So you should have a reading element for the people that really want to digest it. But for the average person who's going to come across your Instagram on Instagram, they need to be sucked in with something that's stupid digestible, right? And that's Peter's sweet, sweet face speaking words.
Speaking words.
Because the consistency is there. You have the consistency. Now you just have to get the right information out in the right way.
Right.
And I think you're getting the right information out. So you've got like two of the three ticks for making a successful Instagram. But people need to see your face and watch you speak because it's the easiest way to get drawn into the information.
Yeah. I've been doing voiceovers.
Yeah, the voiceovers, that's a step up for sure. Because when you have, like, if someone's scrolling on Reels, they're going to have their sound on most likely. But when it's your face right in front of and it doesn't even have to be the whole time.
I don't even have like a ring thing. I got to get like a ring light.
You don't need a ring thing.
Make my face all pretty.
No, you don't, Peter. Do you guys have a garage door?
Yes.
In the gym?
Yes.
Just film with the camera and the garage door behind the camera. So your face is facing the garage door and you're going to get great light on your face. You don't need a ring.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about that.
I just gotta figure out what to say.
You're already saying it. You're just writing it.
But I'm typing it. It's easier to type it rather than say it.
It's honestly, Peter, when we talk about those things on here, you know exactly what to say and you know how to say it.
Well, yeah. But when you say like action, it's like, ah.
I mean, you have to have a little bit. You're writing out, or at least to some extent, coming up with a plan for what you're going to post each week.
Right.
So that's where you need to be, right? Mm-hmm. You just and the easiest thing right now is you can go and redo all of the content that you've done. You can leave it there. You can go over and look at all of the ones that you've made that are just written and just say them and give examples. Like your talking portion where it's actually your face could be the first 5 or 10 seconds of the video. And then you could jump into showing the actual movements. Because people want, like, however much we want to be staring at our phone, looking at our phone, we also want to see a person's face.
Seems like a lot of work.
Well, I don't know what you want, Peter. Do you want to grow the Instagram or not? I mean, it is work. I agree. It's not something that's easy. That's why people give up on it.
Yeah.
And that's why I gave up on it, because it's fucking hard.
It is hard work.
And I didn't even know, like I didn't know what information I wanted to share.
Right.
You know what you want to share, and you've got great information. And you know a lot about it. Like, you should be sharing it. Probably. For sure, consistently. But you've got to be doing it in a way where people actually want to consume the information.
Right. I'll try it out.
Yes. And don't do it just once.
We'll see.
No, that's not fair. Because you've given all this other shit multiple weeks, months to try out.
Yeah.
Now you got to give your face, some time to try out.
Gotta give my face some screen time, baby.
And bring in some goddamn humor, Peter. You're a funny kid. You shouldn't, like, it doesn't have to be robotic. Just have fun.
I'm funny all the time.
And you're good in front of the camera. So I don't know what you're worried about.
The only reason this podcast even has listeners is to listen to me.
Oh, shut your whore mouth.
I'm serious.
No, dude.
Yeah, my dad was saying the other day, like,
mean.
Devon's voice is really nice on his microphone, but like you really bring the personality to the podcast.
Dude.
I didn't say it. Every single person that's reached out about the podcast is like,
dude,
yo, Devon's a great host, but you are hilarious and you are so good.
Oh, me and your dad have some quarrels at this point, man.
Well, it's just tough to hear. I get it, but
honestly, I have quarrels with everyone that listens at this point. Apparently,
I'm trying to make you better, man. You gotta.
I love it. You know,
gotta just
what do I need to do, Peter?
Talk prompt my jokes even more, right? Because I'm the only thing driving this thing, right? So we really gotta latch on to what we have. Right? The successful stuff we have.
So what I'm saying is, Devon, you need to shut the fuck up.
No.
Hell up.
You need to keep talking in that smooth voice, but like really just throw up softballs that I can just hit with jokes.
Well, the problem is I throw softballs all the time, and you just go, eh.
It's not true.
Oh my God, it's true.
Prove it. That's what I thought. You literally can't prove it. So like,
dude, you literally reacted before I even said anything.
Should have had some.
When we grow a following, we're going to have some people that are loyal enough to go back, listen to this part, and then they're going to go look at all the points where I gave you some fucking softballs and Peter went, eh. That's what's going to happen.
If that ever happens, I will be indebted $100,000 to you. I will pay you $100,000 if
Peter,
that ever happens.
Where do you think that $100,000 is going to come from?
I mean, if we're that successful, apparently this podcast.
This podcast. And you know who did all the work for it?
Daddy, right here.
Me. I've posted every episode. I've cut down the fucking shit. I've shared it. Peter hasn't shared a single episode.
Why don't you put your face on it? Why don't you put your face on it and then we'll share it?
What?
Yeah, Devon.
put my dude. Both of our faces are on it.
Get in front of the camera, bro.
I'm in front of the camera right now. You want to go look at my YouTube channel, Peter? I've done multiple videos.
I actually have it pulled up right now. Oh, I'm looking at our YouTube channel with the shows, with the podcast.
I've put myself out there in front of the camera for all to see. And
damn, we've been going at this for 4 months.
We've been going at it for 4 months, and we've got 2 subscribers.
That's so sad.
It's not sad, honestly. There's going to be an inflection point at some point, and it's hard because we're not giving out anything that's digestible.
Yeah, we don't give any information. We don't do anything.
Well, the main thing that we need to be doing is clips.
Well, why don't you do that?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Peter. God damn it, Peter, you fucking immigrant. I need you.
I feel like you need to put a little more effort into this.
So, Peter, what I need from you is one, I need the audio, and I need it on time.
I've given you my audio on time every single time.
What?
Except a 3-week span.
You've done good other than that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Don't give me
Stop flexing for the camera.
I'm stretching.
You're conceited.
Literally stretching.
And I need you, every time we post a podcast, every time I get it up there, I want you to go listen. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. Scrub through. Find 2 sections that you like. And we can post a longer format clip on our YouTube channel that can be like 5 to 8 minutes. And then we can also post a 1-minute clip that goes on our Instagram. So that people can consume it easier, right? We're talking about the consumables. We got to make sure that people can actually consume this easily, because people don't want to invest an hour into a podcast if they don't think that it's going to be worth it.
It might not be. It's probably not. If you're listening
let me tell you right now, most of the time it's not worth it. But we want money. I'm just kidding. Really, I mean, mainly at this point, it's just been fun to talk once a week.
That makes one of us, man. That's awesome.
Oh my God. I mean, what the fuck am I doing here?
Clip it. Clip that one. Clip
the
that
amount
one.
of look at my podcast set.
Yeah. The setup behind you is not as good as mine, but it's good. It's good.
Dude, I wanna run into a wall.
Well, you got one
aggressively.
You got 4 surrounding you. Pick one.
I just don't know, Peter. I don't know that with your attitude if we're ever gonna actually make it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You really want to live with the regret of not being not really putting in the work for a couple of months to a couple of years so that we can get this thing going? I feel
like you're the main producer and you're the main host. So I feel like you got to
Which I've said so many times.
Yeah, yes. But it's my idea. You got to keep us on track a little bit better.
Why do you think that I say these things to you every week?
What things?
That, hey, we need to be sharing our posts.
No, not that stuff. Like the actual in the podcast commentary. You got to keep us on track a little better.
That's fair.
I know. That's why I said
I'm still learning how to do this, Peter.
Yeah, clearly.
All right, we're gonna move on. I mean, do you want to just move on from that? We'll just go on to something different. We'll just go on to something different. Shut up. The Supreme Court strikes down. Shut your eyes.
All right, continue.
Okay, good, Peter?
I'm good.
All right. I love that you just carry around a letter opener all the time.
It's my handling. It's my playpen. I'm a fidgeter. I'm a fidgeter.
Okay, this is the Supreme Court struck down the New York gun law to make it easier for Americans to get handguns. New York was one of the hardest places in the country to get a handgun permit, a concealed carry permit. And now it's made easier.
Respect.
I do think that that's a good thing. However, I did watch, there was a lot of satire involved in this video that I watched. However, but I don't even know what I'm saying.
However, but
yeah, exactly. But they were talking about the whole thought process around there should be more guns. More people should be able to protect it. To be able to take down a bad guy with a gun, you need a good guy with a gun. Right?
Yeah.
That is something that you'll hear. And it's something that I find myself agreeing with. However, I think that it is a very difficult thing to actually execute because it's not as simple as being like, you're a good guy, here's a gun. Because just because you give that guy a gun doesn't mean he's going to know how to use it. And for sure doesn't mean he's going to know how to use it in a situation where he needs to use it, right? Under stress, under duress. Like those are situations where everything goes wrong.
Right.
And being able to understand what the assignment is at that point and execute it is a totally different thing than being like, you're a good guy, here's a gun.
I agree.
I think that, and this goes back to what we were talking about when the Uvalde shooting happened, is there needs to be more training that is easier to access.
Okay.
And I think that it would be, so my thoughts initially when the Uvalde shooting happened was like, hey, we should have lots of people who are well trained with guns.
Okay.
But I do understand the difficult side that presents of actually training those people in situations that may arise to be able to protect the people, right?
Right.
Because like if, for instance, if we're talking about a school shooting, obviously a very difficult subject, but if we're talking about a school shooting and you've got a good guy with a gun who enters a school and is fucking on edge because he's like looking for a fucking guy with a gun, and then a kid sprints around the hall. Well, we're not going to be using automatic rifles, right?
Right.
But
You get the gist.
yeah, like if you're on edge and you really are not good at this and you haven't been put in these situations, it would be stupid easy to get caught off guard by a kid running around the hall corner and just put a bullet in him.
I've played Call of Duty and I've definitely killed some people with friendly fire.
Yeah, that is like a super difficult fucking thing to be able to execute calmly.
Yeah.
So essentially what I'm trying to say is I have no idea what the fucking solution to this shit is.
Make schools safer.
One of the things that I did see that could make an impact is this billionaire. So obviously he knows what's going on, especially at the level of people who don't have $1 billion. He shared like what he reads every week. One of the things that he read was suicide prevention could prevent mass shootings. Because, and it goes into a lot of the research and the, numbers behind this. But most of these people who are going in and doing
It's a murder-suicide.
mass shootings they're assuring suicide. Some of these people may have even tried to kill themselves prior and failed. And now they're trying to do death by essentially firing squad or police officers, right?
Right.
So it's an interesting idea that if you prevent these suicidal ideations and, you know, this misunderstanding of what struggle is, misunderstanding of like suicide in general, that you could prevent a lot of these mass shootings.
Yeah. I mean,
Come on, Peter.
I guess I agree, but like, I think we've had this conversation, man. I just don't understand where that even starts. Like, it's the same thing with like the psychology thing, and like, I just don't understand where it's gonna start with. I mean, there's tons of kids that commit suicide that you have no idea we're even thinking about it. And then you obviously think, and then there's kids that are committing suicide that's like, in hindsight, yeah, those were some signs. Like, yeah. But like, we already have these in places of like, oh, this kid's obsessed with guns. Oh, he's like da 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 da. Oh, he's depressed.
Well,
he's
then
bullied. He's obsessed with
that
guns.
comes into,
and then he comes in and kills everyone. It's like, well, what are we like?
well, that's where like red flag laws should come into place and should be utilized more.
I mean,
Like if we've got a kid who has a track record of having problems, right? He, as a minor, is dealing with guns, is like, these should be red flags
yeah,
and they should be taken into account. And then if you go to try and buy a gun, you should not be allowed to buy a gun.
right. I mean, I think unfortunately, shootings, mass shootings, school shootings, et cetera, are very. I don't think they're preventable. I don't think they're preventable events. Okay, it's not.
I don't think that they're preventable.
It's not like
in
hijacking
total.
a plane where you can like make sure everyone is like da da da. Right? It's not a preventable event. I think they're a reactionary event where it's happening. Okay, how are we going to react to it?
I agree. I think that both they're not 100% preventable and they are reactionary events. However, I do think that we should be able to decrease the amount of them.
Maybe. I don't know how, but maybe.
I think that, yeah. I don't know how either.
Awesome.
But what we're doing right now, Peter, is we're starting the conversation, dude.
Big
You
time.
know?
That's all we're doing. Starting all the conversations.
We're pushing people to fucking get it done
Get it done.
because we need someone to.
Get it done.
But, you know, we'll see. I don't know that it's, and it's we've shown that it's not something that's beholden to the US.
Right.
Like the US is not the only people that are having problems with guns. And mass shootings. It's happening all over the world and even worse in a lot of countries around the world. So it's something I think we should strive to get better at, but I don't know.
Awesome.
It's just it's a shitty place to have to worry about a kid when you send him off to school.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the docket,
What's next up on the docket?
Russia and China are brewing up a challenge to dollar dominance by creating a new reserve currency. So, if you don't know, currently around the world, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. So if you want to protect your country from, you know, different sorts of things, and you want to be able to deal with all countries in terms of goods, US dollar is the way to do it. And each country holds a certain amount of US dollars in their, you know, national bank, so that they can deal with other countries. And usually, I don't think that it's ever been the case that it's not. And I don't really know how many reserve currencies there have been since the US dollar took over, but if you are the reserve currency of the world, it gives you extreme power in leverage. So one of the reasons that we have $30 trillion of debt is because we are the reserve currency of the world. We can, questionably afford to do that.
Right.
And that gives you the ability to spend incredible amounts of money on, defense, on your country, trying to make your country better, education, all of these things, which we're not great at. But it's essentially, it should be like a lock-in for being the greatest country on the planet if your reserve currency is the reserve currency of the world. Or your currency is the reserve currency of the world. So having China, Russia, I mean, honestly, who gives a fuck about Russia? Their economy is literally the size of a few of our states. That's how big their economy is. It's you take Texas and their economy is larger than Russia's economy. But China is the largest economy in the world outside of maybe India. But having China be part of the reserve currency of the world is a terrifying prospect. Because at that point, they have countless dollars or yuan or whatever their currency is to spend on defense, creating new weapons, essentially just world dominance. So it's a troubling idea.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think we've gotten into this place where everyone thinks that the US is wrong for some of our defensive strategies towards other countries, specifically like China. And I can see why there are some, if there are Chinese people in the United States, we shouldn't be bad to them just because they're Chinese, right? We don't need xenophobia, which is I think is what it is. But we also should understand that a dictator is running that country, and if you allow a dictator to run the most powerful country in the world, things get a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Did I get xenophobia right?
You did.
Hell yeah, dog.
Prejudice against other peoples in other countries.
Yeah. So I think that we should take the matter of China trying to take over a little bit more serious than we do.
Yeah. I just don't. Do we even have a president right now, though?
So the thing is, I don't think we need a president.
Why is that?
Because there are so many people in the background, right? At this point, the Biden administration is running the country, not Biden.
Yeah, I know, but
which is terrifying because we should have a strong, confident,
a leader.
Yes, well-articulated leader
That tells us what's going on.
that tells us what's going on and is making the decisions.
Right. For all we know, we might be super against what China's doing, and we have no clue, though, if that's happening.
Right. Well, and the decisions that we're making are absurd. Like right now the war is still going on. This should not still be happening. Russia and Ukraine should not still fucking be at war.
Why not?
Because we should have come to an amenable fucking conclusion with this.
Why?
Because this is not something, however much Putin wants to say that it was, I mean, he's said multiple things about it, but people also speculate that it's him trying to take back Mother Russia, right? I don't believe that that's part of it. He's scared for what Russia is, and he's scared for the West's intrusion of his area. So we got into this area where NATO was NATO was pushing buttons of Russia. No one was ever actually going to let Ukraine into NATO, but it was on the table. There was no reason it should have fucking been on the table because it was never actually going to happen.
Right.
If we would have 2 years ago been like, no, Ukraine cannot join NATO, none of this would have happened, I don't think. And the Biden administration has made it abundantly clear that their goal for this is to weaken Russia, which who gives a fuck about Russia? Russia's economy is inconsequential. Like the only thing that Russia, like right now, Russian oil is the biggest problem. Other countries' dependency on Russian oil is a problem. Germany making the fucking stupid ass decision to turn off their nuclear power plants and then just import oil from a country who does it worse is absurd. That's not a green plan. That's a worse plan. Now you're beholden on a dictator too. Like whoever thought that that was a good idea is like should literally be gone immediately. They should be ostracized to fucking
Russia, yeah.
Like the cold ass parts of Russia. Like those stupid decisions make this way worse than it needs to be. If this whole goddamn thing with Germany is hilarious, but Germany is going to have these blackouts this winter because they don't have enough energy. They're not producing enough energy. And now they have to import all of their energy from Russia, including coal. They now have to go back to burning coal, and that coal is coming from Russia, which is fucking hilarious because they had some of the cleanest goddamn energy that you can do. Like some say the cleanest energy that you can do running, and they shut it all down because people don't understand what a nuclear power plant is. It's so much easier to educate your people on what a nuclear power plant is rather than shut it off and be reliant on someone who is out of control, unpredictable, and dying.
Respect.
Like whoever made those decisions, and it's hilarious because I'm not for Trump, but there's a video of Trump talking to them, talking to German, whatever, the people that fucking run Germany, saying, and he grabbed a white flag and he started waving it up in the air. He said, this is going to be you guys when you're reliant on Russia. When all of this was when they were talking about this, when they were talking about the fucking pipeline and all this bullshit. And then they still went forward with it.
Why don't we have nuclear energy?
Because there is not enough education around what it is. It is one of the safest, if not the safest, green energies because of our advancement in technology, right? We've had terrible, terrible problems with it, like 3 Mile Island and I think it's Fukushima. Is that what it is? I don't really remember. But we've had disasters with nuclear power plants.
It just blows
because
up.
You have to have backups. You have to make sure that it shuts down properly, or else you're dealing with a bunch of nuclear waste, which is dangerous, right? But with the technology that we have now, we can build these nuclear power plants that will literally run the country in a really efficient and green manner. However, in the US, we got so scared of it that if you wanted to build a nuclear power plant, starting today, you wouldn't get that done until 2042.
Why?
Because you have to go through all of these permitting processes. They've literally made it unattainable. They've made it impossible to do.
Why?
Because everyone got scared. And when your people get scared, you make decisions rather than educating.
Do we have any nuclear power plants in the United States?
I believe we do. I think we have one outside of Phoenix. But I'm not entirely sure. But it's you shouldn't. Each country should be energy independent. This is not something that is, it's not xenophobic. You're not like having prejudice against other people from other countries. It's purely, if things go wrong in other countries, whether you're a part of it or not, you want to make sure that your country is going to be good. As a leader of a country, your goal and your duty is to protect the people of your country. You have to have energy independence. Okay, across the United States, there are 93 nuclear reactor power tens of millions of homes and anchor local communities. So, let's see. I wonder if Montana has any.
Doubt it. We are awesome, but I don't know if we're that awesome.
Montana has, you are 53% coal.
Yup.
34% hydrogen or hydro, 2% natural gas, and 8% wind. So we're
not very green.
You do not have nuclear fuel, really. Very little. Very, very little.
Awesome.
However, hydro is good. Hydro is very green.
Yeah, it's because we have a few dams.
Yeah. Let's see. New Mexico.
We also do a shit ton of coal.
Wow. Wow. New Mexico is 34% natural gas, 41% coal, 20% wind, and 4% solar.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think that shut up, Peter.
Yep.
I think that I hope that the time of politicians being politicians has come to an end. I want to have actual people who have done actual things be leading our country.
Yeah, good luck.
I want people who have created and started and ran businesses running our country.
Good luck with
running our states, running our senates. I think that it wouldn't be too difficult. You just have to change the incentives. Someone smarter than me, there are plenty of people smarter than me, can figure out how to change the incentives so that we get smarter, more educated.
But then the current politicians wouldn't be in, and they have all the power to change those incentives.
I agree. However,
it's like public.
Peter, don't laugh at me, dude.
It's like public-private school. Private school is going to have better teachers if it's incentivized, right? Whereas public school, that's where all the shit is because that's government funded.
So what we need, and I think it's starting to happen, is more money towards centrist politicians.
I don't even know what that means.
And Elon has stated that he is going to commit. I think he said something like $20 to $25 million to funding people that are more centrist on both sides, Democratic and Republican, to run states and countries.
Cool.
Because right now all of the money is going towards the crazier and crazier people. Like on the left, you have to one up the person that was before you in your leftist ideology. So you have to we're just inching closer and closer towards communism and fucking socialism.
Right.
Which is, people don't understand that it's not, it's a great.
It's great on paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
I mean, it looks fantastic, but I want people to like think and look around and think about what our government has done. And then be like, are they really the people that should be executing this? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Like if your government is actually trying to censor people and shut people up, rather than just educating what they actually believe is true, I wouldn't want to be worried. I wouldn't want to have them be running the socialism, because then you're going to get a lot of people that get shut up, and then that line is just going to creep and creep closer and closer until you're the one that's getting cut.
Yeah.
So let's just, think about it a little bit. All right. Well, to end this one off, here's a little bit of a fun, interesting, thought-provoking, just historic, fun thing. They found early human fossils in a cave that are dated back 1 million years older than expected. So these researchers have found the skulls of in a South African cave that are dated back to 3.4 to 3.6 million years old, making them 1 million years older than previously suspected.
Whoa.
I mean, that is a substantial amount of time.
It's 1 million years.
Like, if you think
It's unfathomable.
if you think that we have been on the planet in the human state, right, for 2 million years, 2.3, 2.4 million years, and then we find something that says that no, it's 50% more. We've been on the planet 50% longer than that.
So 3 million years.
That is substantial. It's very, very interesting. So that's just a fun little thought-provoking antidote to leave us with.
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Nice.
All right. Well, that was episode number 21 of the You Should Fact Check This podcast. We will see you in the next episode.
Doses.
Goodbye.